LGBTQ rights. What are your thoughts on all Black Lives Matter, and do we need a separate one? Because I thought the umbrella of Black Lives Matter included all Black lives, so I'm a little confused. So
I think when we see all Black Lives Matter, we're looking at what we should be looking at, and that's what I want to emphasize, that Black trans femmes and non-binary femmes are the folks who lead that call to action. And if that call to action isn't made by them, when, you know, like what has taken place in the past few weeks, things that we cannot ignore. And that's something that boils me just a little bit, is that a lot of people take it upon themselves to do these things and to see if it's appropriate or not. So I did see that, but I'm not for sure like who was in the lead of that, and was their voice sufficient in that, because we're not listening hard enough. We're not looking at that hard enough, especially when we look at like how call to actions actually take place around when anybody dies. There's a lot of folks in the LGBTQ Black community who actually lead a lot of the resistance against the state. So it never should be looked at as separate. I think we're still looking at people's complacency to white supremacy when they want to say, oh, it's a distraction. But it's like, you don't even know who just led that march against X, Y, and Z.
You think the LGBTQ community did that because perhaps they didn't feel supported when, you know, there's been, here in Dallas, I think we're the leading city of the murders of Black transgender women. So it not very much gets done about it. So do you feel like, it's hypothetical.
Here, let me share for you. I think when it comes to these things, I'm going to list them off. When it comes to ending all police contracts with social services, care services, and government agencies who provide care, when it comes to cutting funding for police relations, when it comes to not hiring new officers or replace the fired, retired, or resigned officers. I think when it comes to reducing the power of police unions, prohibiting elected officials and candidates from taking money from police and their associations or their fraternal orders of police. I think that withholding pensions and not rehiring cops who were involved in excessive use of force. I think that making police association contract negotiations public. Our mayor here in Long Beach, Robert Garcia, right after our state fought for 2 long years, if not longer than that, to win transparency laws, our mayor went and worked with the Police Officer Association during police officer contract negotiations over all of their other, like, you know, worker benefits and pay, helped them help them put in an article, whoever created it, put in an article that our city council, our 9 city council members knew nothing about it, snuck this article in that said that they want a 5-day heads up, and they admitted that they want this heads up so that they can file injunctions and file court orders to tie up the process and not have to disclose the records of officers who are murdering people, the records of officers who are committing violent acts and sexual assaults, right? So requiring police and not cities to be liable for misconduct and violent settlements and end qualified immunity. I think that when it comes to addressing, whether you want to call this defunding in those ways or abolishment in those ways, whatever you want to call it, like we have to separate them from our everyday lives. And that's separating them from our everyday Black lives. Whatever our orientations are, our queer communities, our trans communities, our all communities, like those are the areas of attention that we need dismantled and disrupted for all of us. So I hope that was helpful.
Yeah, no, I was just asking about your thoughts on, you know, 2 different entities, but you're basically saying that as long as the same goal is to make changes in the policing,